Hi there, welcome back to the Rusty Lathe project. As I said before, with regard to this solution that I've been using here, you need to fairly press on and get some coverage on whatever steel you've cleaned, either get it oiled or get it painted, in my opinion. Because if we look more closely at this, I'll bring you across in a moment. This was nice shiny bright steel only a couple of days ago, and I just left it to show you what would happen if I did actually leave it. So it was nice shiny steel, and now it's all rusted again. I'll bring you across and show you in a moment. But my intention is now, as I thought about previously, to paint it with this light blue Hammerite paint that I've got. So to that end, I'll get that mixed up, and then to clean the brush, I've got some of this thinners. It's not the correct thinners for the brush as per the instructions on here, so whether it will clean the brush or not, I'm not really sure. But there we are, we've got some thinners. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, we'll just throw the brush away. So I'll bring you across and we'll have a closer look at the rust action that's been going on this cover here. So as you can see, it's absolutely bright red rust again, just that light covering of rust that I spoke about. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean it off with this Scotch Brite type cloth, and then brush the dust off with the white cloth, just a disposable paper napkin type thing, and then I'll get the paint on, because you can put this paint onto a rusted surface anyway. So I'll clean off as much rust as I can now, and then I'll paint all of this. I've removed the switch in readiness. I've put a bit of masking tape up here such that I can paint almost up to the edge of here without damaging or marking this paint, hopefully, so that I just end up with this cover plate where the belt housing is in this blue paint. So I'll get this mixed up and get cracked on. So I will actually put some more of this rust dissolver on just so that you can see what is actually happening with that. I'm only going to leave it on a few minutes this time, and then I'll wipe it away and get some paint on it. But you might just be able to see better what's going on with this stuff on a bigger surface like this that's fairly well illuminated. So then, the solution's been on there now about 10 minutes, so I'll just excite that a little bit with this. Get this back to almost the shiny steel again that it was the other day. And get some paint on it before it rusts again. You can see the solution coming off now, and bringing some of the rust with it. So as we can see, it's fairly wiped clean. What I'll do now, I'll do as it says on the can and clean it off with water. So this is just normal tap water, and you're supposed to rinse the solution off with tap water. So hopefully you can see a bit of a difference from when we first started this video a few minutes ago. As I said, the solution had been left on for about 10 minutes tonight. I'm just drying it off now with a dry cloth. And then I'll be able to get some paint on it before it rusts again. But this is how clean it was the other day, and as we saw when we came in, it was just covered in brown rust again. And that is what happens. So if you're using this solution, the Eastwood gel rust dissolver, I would suggest that pretty smartish get some paint or oil on the pieces that you've just cleaned. That's my personal experience. So I'll give this a few minutes now just to wear off and dry off, and in the meantime I'll mix up the blue Hammerite. So here we are then. For better or worse, let's put some on. The brush itself isn't a brand new fresh brush, so it doesn't matter if it does become wasted. Just trying not to get paint on the rest of the lathe. And this is supposed to go on fairly thick. To guard against pinholes. Can't put it on too thick on vertical surfaces, obviously. So it might take a couple of coats, but I won't bore you with giving 2 coats. It certainly can't look any worse than it did when we first saw it tonight, all rusty brown. So we'll see what we think to that when that's dried. At least it can be a base coat for a more suitable colour if I ever come across a more suitable colour. And it should stop the rust. See, the rust is starting again, even there. That's the very sort of example that I've just been talking about with regard to this rust. You've got to get it fairly quickly covered over, because it will just start to rust again. So you haven't really time for a cup of tea or anything. Use it and get some oil on quickly. Oil or paint. As I said, this Hammerite paint that I'm using here, you can use this directly onto rust. So maybe for a rusty lathe, it's a good choice of paint. Doesn't particularly look very nice, does it? So there, we'll see how that performs and looks. It probably will need a second coat on it, but I'll give that a second coat off camera. There's no point you all watching that again. Probably won't give it as thick a coat second time round. But there, that's bound to look better than a rusty carry on, isn't it? So I'll just try and clean the brush now, get the worst of the paint off with just a dry cloth. And then I'll try some of the standard thinners and see if that brings it off the brush, or whether you do actually need to use the special thinners that Hammerite suggests. Here goes. Yep, so a standard thinners has cleaned the brush, so that's brilliant. I can use this brush again. So that will come in for the second coat. The thinners has brought the brush up a dream. Fantastic. So there we are. It certainly looks better than it did when we first started tonight, with all the horrible brown rust on there. It doesn't look fantastic, I must admit, but I'll give that a fettle down, and then I'll give it a second coat, but a thinner coat. I was just trying to cure any pinholes that might appear in the paint, because it does say to put it on fairly thick. So there we are. That can dry off. I'll give that a second coat. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, cheers. Bye for now.